Those were the days when one had a personal hangout with Jeranism. Jeran. Actually, what it was is that the person I was with at the time series had some work, but personal things got in the way. I went and met him and we started something, and he was given some money for a passport and a ticket. It wasn't for me, but the person gave him some money, and he bought the passport, but then he spent the rest of the money on smoke. And after spending all this time having these hangouts with him and going to meet him and starting something with him, or what I thought was something, and then he did that, I got a bit upset. So I actually said that I was blocking him personally, but that didn't mean I was blocking him from the group or all the information we'd done. And he went and deleted a lot of the information, so we couldn't continue all these readings we'd given. So as far as I was concerned, he'd broken into Google Maps and had taken all their data, which just seems incredible that he was able to do that. And he thought that the world was pretty much the way that they'd shown us, really, except obviously the outer bit. There was no information about that. And for a long time, yes, it was a squarey. So I went that way with that information. But when he did that, I had to think of my channel, and suddenly I changed. And we carried on without certain people because, I spent all this time making this channel for the people, and we'd started to do really well. I wasn't going to let anything ruin it, not my personal life. And then when he deleted it, I thought, what a traitor. That's what I thought. And obviously not in the goodness of flat earth. But I carried on without him. But in this time, I'd had a hangout with Jeran. And he had talked about our information at that time. But so he'd come on this hangout, which is on the computer. It's about 3 hours long. And the next thing was, people were telling me that he was sort of slagging the channel off. And on this talk here, he's saying that, because I can't show it because it's private, and, well, anyway, he wasn't dishing the group, he was just dishing the fact that we didn't put our information public, and he didn't like that. But that's not how it sounded on the video. And you're listening to someone going on about how NASA changes themselves for him because he's seen the mistakes. Well, anyway, that was what my argument, I was just, wow. And in this, he talked about the fact that he knew the Gleason map was not quite right. But it was the best map we'd got, and that's the one he was going with. So, we were trying to tell him it was wrong. Obviously, I've changed my mind a little bit, because, this map came into my view. Well, what I feel is that this map, Sally sent... Oh, there's Monique. Hello, Monique, in the bottom of the picture there. I must have clicked it when I was talking to her or something. If you're going to take the wrong map to Antarctica, then it's not surprising it didn't work the way you thought it was, because you aren't actually where you think you are. Yeah, that's what I think. And, come on, everybody. When they show you maps of Canada and Russia, they show you it as ice, don't they? The water or the land is just covered in snow and it's wintry. Well, my daughter-in-law comes from Lithuania, which isn't very far from... My daughter-in-law comes from Lithuania, and what it is that in the summer they go to the Baltic Sea and have maybe 8-12 weeks of very hot weather where they're all at the beach. They're showing you as ice. Northern Russia, there are places there that get to minus 55, or about then, 50 minus whatever. Very cold. And in the winter, which lasts longer, it's like that, but in the summer the temperatures get up to the 40s. It might only be 3 months of the year, but in those 3 months they get very hot weather. So what it is there's just hot places and cold places. You know, if I took you to the Andes and I said, this went on forever, you would believe me. If I take you, and of course the Andes is in a hot country, and if I take you to Everest and I said, this went on forever, you'd believe me. But Everest sits, well, the bottom part of China is very hot, and around is very hot. So this very cold place is sitting in a very hot place. And then if I took you to the Alps in the winter and I said, this went on forever, you would believe me. So, you know, in France, summer's very hot, sometimes there, winter's very, very cold. Hot places, cold places. And so, how do you know what Antarctica is? What, just the little places they told you and the 3 places they drop you off? Or is that because each of those places is a completely different part of Antarctica? You know, if it's all around here, you know, they drop you off here and they drop you off here and they drop you off here, sort of thing. That's not, I'm just saying, yeah. So, but if you take the wrong map, you know, the thing that surprises me with the Gleason map is that it doesn't cover the southern hemisphere at all. When you look at this map, the star map, in a way, there is your circle. Outside of it is the southern hemisphere in the legs of the star. It's called a star map. And, you know, that's 3/4 of South America, with the Falkland Islands down here. You've got half of Africa, well, getting on for half of Africa, with South Africa here. You've got Australia here in the southern hemisphere. And you've got the Pitcairn Islands, all these areas owned by the royal family. Yeah, and the Union Jack fits on top. And I told you what they were. They're ROMANSs. Nothing's changed. You know, look at the word religion. It's religion. It's them. Religion. Soldiers. Yes, but anyway, that's another story. But if you take the wrong map telling you what you think it is, then you're never going to find what you want, are you? So you're never going to be able to work it out. But, you know, watching things, it's almost as if Jeren has thrown the toys out of the cot and has now become a glober again, which was probably what it was all about then. Because when you go to Flatty, there's no way back. There absolutely isn't. And, you know, sometimes some of these dimensions are a bit weird. The 4th dimension, if you walk, it brings you back on itself as if you've done a circle, but you walked a straight line. So there are some anomalies in our realm here. But, you know, you don't know if there's any land here. Maybe it's more over here now, just slightly. See this bit here, looks like it could, or maybe, and then how do you know that the land isn't there? But we don't fly over this bit. We don't fly over this bit. Why couldn't they have told us that this is what we live on? This is what we look like? Anyway, this little video is because if you don't take the right map or the right understanding, you're never going to be at the right place at the right time. So, just making this little video, and yeah, well, I never watched the Antarctica thing because I just thought it was all going to be one big farce. It's to break up Flatty, isn't it? Or throwing toys out of a cot, Jeran? Anyway, that's why I made this video, to show Jeran he had the wrong map. Then comes this map. It says it was used by the Royal Air Force in 1961. And there it is, a butterfly. Yeah, I had Australia here, I had Africa here, I had South America here, and that put Alaska up there. But they've got it like this, and when you look at this, obviously the Queen owns the Pitcairn Islands, and there's some land missing, isn't there? Well, maybe it really is missing, sunk, or they're not telling us that there's land here. Could be over here a bit more. Yeah, well, the Queen, the Queen, the Queen, and the Queen. And that leads me on to the next bit, which we'll see in a minute. I mean, yeah, Russia doesn't look so big there. Anyway, so the next bit was, this is how they make the Union Jack up. Do you see what I mean? British, 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 and there's got to be whatever it is there. Do you see how the Union Jack is made? With all the countries that are owned. And, you know, Jamaica, let's have a look. When we go back, this says. Right. Let's go back. I want the map. I want the map. Come on, map. Where's Jamaica? I suppose that Jamaica would be in that lot there. And what it is it's on a cross. Look, I'll show you. They are on the crisscross. And there's the crisscross from the Union Jack. Yes, it's a different colour. Still almost, you know, it's a part of that flag. Yes. Anyway, it has to be like that because I already know England's lying on its side and it pushes everything else round. Hello everybody. Well, I'm doing a different kind of video today. You know, Sun and Moon, the original Sun and Moon. We started off as a research group, and in 2017, at that time, there was people around me and the research we did. Some people have changed their lives now. Some people don't look into this at all. Some people have moved on. That's the way it goes. But Gaia Girl sent me the star map. It is a little bit like a Gleason map or a circle map, or because it does actually have a circle in it. But what happens is, if you make it your map, nothing will ever add up because this place and Australia, wherever that is, Australia aren't in it. I suppose getting on for half of Africa's not in it, and 3/4 of South America's not in it, and I suppose then Hawaii's not. Oh no, Hawaii's up there, isn't it? Well, anyway, there's now sections on the Pitcairn Islands aren't in it, so there's sections of the world not in that map, so nothing is ever going to add up right because it's not a circle. So Gaia Girl sent me this map. And tonight, I'm just not quite sure when I'm going to put this out, to be honest. I don't know whether to just put it out or put this out after you've watched her video, which is premiering on Sun and Moon on the 3rd of the 11th. But I'm not sure whether to do this tomorrow. I don't know. I'll just decide later on when I've made the video how long it takes me to do it. She sent me this map. Because to her, this is a person who's given birth to a baby with her legs crossed. So, like a Buddha kind of representation. which we will have listened to her version and what she sees and the whole thing. So I hope everybody who watched that enjoyed that, because yeah, people do, and in a sense you can see what she means. And actually Australia is the baby. But anyway, I'm going to move on to why this all fits into the next part of the video, which I'm going to explain, and I can only explain it now so that you remember it later on, because it's all bits of puzzle. And the latter part of information, which comes from 2017, a long time ago now, is explaining almost this, but not quite, because they didn't put it into this. They put it into a square, like a Union Jack, but it's almost, it's like they've changed a bit of it. But you know, like I said, it's really crazy. Southern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere, Southern Hemisphere. The four corners of the stars, they're all in the Southern Hemisphere. Northern Hemisphere, the majority of the land. Quite weird that we're shown it as lines, but it's the complete opposite. Everything seems to be the complete opposite of what they say. But anyway, so this star map, I just couldn't believe how the Union Jack fitted on this. It was the closest. Anyway, let's move on to some other bits which we will explain as we go along. Hello everybody. I am re-looking back at this map. There's been quite a few comments lately on what people think we live on, and I've just got a feeling it's that, because the Union Jack fits perfectly on the top of that map. It's not a Gleason or a pizza map, it's a star map, and this is how the Union Jack fits on the top of all those countries. It fits over the whole lot, but I'm just trying to show you, like, so you can see that South America, South Africa, Australia and the Pitcairn Islands are the edges, and also Jamaica is on that crisscross. Do you get it now? Get this now. They live across, so they get a crisscross map. It's crazy or what? I just, don't know. You just see these things and then suddenly it all becomes clearer. See? Jamaica live on the crisscross. Yeah, different colours, that doesn't matter. It's still part of the Union Jack. Just tells you the rules and regs for each country. There you go. So, yes, those are the corners. I don't think it matters which way round you have it. But those are the corners, all owned by the Queen. There's Jamaica, owned by the Queen on the crisscross. So those four countries are on the crisscross with Jamaica and other countries. And there you go, the Union Jack fits nicely on the top again, because that's where it comes from. It all comes from this Union Jack. None of us for sure know where we live, what we live on, or who we are yet. That was what my quest was back in 2016. Obviously, lots of interesting history and lots of things have changed. Even how I do my research or who I research with. But, Jaron, you've got to remain open. That map I've just shown you is a bit similar to a Gleason map, but it isn't the Gleason map. And it sits in a square. Would you believe that? But there's no Antarctica. But it would all be different, because that map has everything different on it. And I've already explained the rest in the video. But I knew it wasn't the Gleason map, because you can't have a map that doesn't serve the Southern Hemisphere and think that that's going to work. So if you go over there with that, and the places that they take you, which you don't know where they are in the scheme of things, and maybe that's why it turned out the way it did. But you know what? We are a good 1,000 miles from the Antarctic Circle, maybe a bit more than that, maybe 2,000 miles. But in the summer, we only get about, when it's coming up to June, solstice day, we're on about 4.5 hours of night. The rest is day. The light is here about 3:30 in the morning. And if we're that far away, so we obviously know the northern part has all day. So it can't, if one area doesn't match up, but you don't know where you're being taken to, and the other place does have all day, then, well, it does, doesn't it? Up in Norway and places like that, or even higher, Svalbard in the summer, they don't have night time. So you've got that place there. So we don't know what living on, what shape it is. We don't know nothing. We're the last ones to know, so keep an open mind, Jeren. Because once you are a flatty, you really can't go backy. Anyway, we're going to finish the video there, and thanks for watching, and watch the last little bit explains why it can't be a pizza map.
And you zoom into the center of the North Pole and or the South Pole, right? You always see this circle above it that is warped. It's always warped, right? So if I flip my ball I made, right, to simulate theirs, and you go into Antarctica, you'll see that whatever, all that data from the flat map you have is being morphed, like you said, morphed into that single point, right? Yeah. Right, so I want to say, how did they do that? And why are they doing that? Why is it always that way, right? Just to answer the question. And then what happens is, I'll just take this, give you a little bit bigger screen here if I can. If you start changing the thickness, it's an inverted double-sided square. So if you start changing the thickness, watch what happens. Yeah. The North Pole starts coming out of the top. So here's Antarctica inverted, right? Yeah. And then it starts coming out again, right? It'll start flying, it'll come out until you end up with a pizza map, right? Right? So you can to infinity keep rolling it in and out, in and out, in and out of itself, right? You'll end up with an azimuthal equidistant map, right? Eventually, if you scale it right, and it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling, right? So that's what they've done. That's how they've pulled it off. So that's why then in their pictures you end up with a square thing. So I thought that was interesting. That at least now I know what they're doing, right? Right? You can morph it inside and out of itself forever, right? And still end up with a globe. Right? And the flight paths are accurate, etc. Because it's a real map, right? So we're on the trail, right? Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
It's really annoying though, isn't it, as well? Because you're taking data that comes from them.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
the only data.
Right.